How did you get started with the other Mind Pump hosts and Doug?
Yeah, so at the time when I got started with Mind Pump, at the time I owned a wellness studio. So this was we offered personal training, massage therapy,
Mm.
nutrition counseling, hormone testing, acupuncture. So it's kind of like a you go to one place and you get all these services. And I had that for about 14 years. And Doug, who's our producer, actually was one of my clients. So he hired me because he had his chiropractor referred him to me, and I trained him, and he got great results. And I had him only work out 2 days a week with me, and which was a lot less than what he was doing before. Got great results. And Doug, who has some internet marketing experience, came to me and said, "Hey, if you ever want to put together a workout or something that we could market online, let me know. I'll do that side of it for you." And that's when I came up with one of the workout programs that we currently sell, which is it's called MAPS Anabolic. So I came up with that, and I put together Doug and I put together marketing material and all that stuff. And at that time, I had been talking to Adam, who's one of my co-hosts, online. Now, Adam, I had known of him, so both of us had kind of made our bones in the fitness industry through 24 Hour Fitness. So back in the late 90s, early 2000s, 24 Hour Fitness was the juggernaut in the gym fitness space. It was at the time Mark Mastroff was running the ship, and Mastroff is a brilliant gym owner. He kind of wrote the book on how to develop a successful gym business. It was a great environment, and there were a lot of top performers back in the day. And I would hear of Adam's name, Adam Schaefer. I would hear about it all the time, and little did I know he heard of me as well. And people would approach us and tell us we need to meet each other. So at least 3 or 4 people would come up to me randomly and say, "You got to meet Adam." And I had no idea people were saying that to him as well, but we'd never met. Anyway, fast forward, I have this workout program I put together with Doug, and we had put together all this marketing material. And at this time, I had met Adam on Facebook. And believe it or not, we talked nothing about fitness on Facebook at that time. So it's a little bit of a left turn here. At that time, Adam had left the fitness industry to start some of the first medical marijuana dispensaries here in California. So this was when medical marijuana became a thing, and the laws were a bit interesting, and they were starting new dispensaries. He left the fitness industry to move into that business. And for those people who listen to Mind Pump, they know that Adam is very entrepreneurial minded, and it was a very smart business move for him. So he did that. And at the same time, I had a close family member that was battling cancer. They had been told that they only had so many months to live. And so I did, what I do in situations like that. I dived into every single alternative treatment I could think of, because there was no conventional treatment that would have treated this person. The doctors basically said there's nothing we can do. And I came across some very interesting studies on cannabinoids. These are the active constituents of the marijuana plant. There was a really interesting study by, I think it was Dr. Guzman in Spain, where they found that high doses of THC greatly reduce the size of brain tumors in mice. Very aggressive glioblastomas, very, very aggressive types of cancer. So I saw that, and I went to other animal studies. So I found Adam, and I started asking him about cannabis, and so we had these conversations around that. Well, anyway, I had this workout program, this marketing material. I remember Adam had worked in the fitness space, and I had heard about him and being successful in that regard. And so I said, "Hey, would you be able to give me your honest opinion if I showed you some of my marketing material? I'm putting together an online workout program." And he said, "Sure." So I sent it over to him, and it must have got him excited, because he called me and we scheduled a meeting. And in that meeting, I met his business partner at the time, which was Justin. And we decided to start Mind Pump. So that was it. We sat down, and literally the first time we met in person, we had a, I don't know, 5-hour conversation, and it was fire. It was chemistry. It was,
Yeah.
we were on the same page, and ideas were flying, and it was just this great, it was exciting. And we said, we need to do a podcast. And now we chose podcast because we didn't want to be known because in the fitness space, it's very common to sell your ideas through how you look, right? So I'm ripped, I'm buffed, I'm hot, whatever. We didn't want to do that for a couple different reasons. One, we didn't like that kind of marketing in the fitness space. We thought that was part of the problem. Two, we wanted to have a business that would last a long time. We were at the time in our mid 30s. I'm like, look, I'm not going to flex my abs into my 40s and 50s to sell my products. And 3, the most important part, podcasts were long
Mm.
form. And we knew if we were talking about fat loss and health and muscle building and mobility and all the topics surrounding health, it wasn't going to work with a Instagram caption or even a
Right.
blog. We needed long form conversation, really to be able to communicate these things effectively. And podcasts also had a very low barrier to enter. There were no sponsors to, beholden to, so we could say whatever we want. We could say how terrible the supplement industry was and not worry about getting
Right.
kicked off the air. And that's how it started. So we started the show, and I think it was this first or second episode got us our first kick. We did an episode called "Why Mind Pump Doesn't CrossFit." At the time, CrossFit was exploding, and we were huge critics of the workout programming. We still are, although CrossFit's come a long way. And we were very blunt, very honest, and it struck a chord, and it went. I mean, for the time, went somewhat viral.
Mm.
CrossFit contacted us, told us to take it off the air, and of course, we gave them the middle finger and did another episode on it. And that was it. And we continued down that path.
Yep.
And the show really, did well. No media experience, so we sucked as podcasters. Very, very rough. But the information we were communicating was honed, because that was the information that was the way we communicated fitness. We had practiced for decades, with our
Right.
clients. So that's the part that really resonated. And here we are now, much more experienced in media, a little bit better. Still not media experts, still trainers at heart, but definitely a lot better than we were when we first started.
People still do CrossFit? Is that a thing still?
Yeah, it's our big issue with CrossFit was that they're less, they do this less now, but at the time it was like the best workout for fat loss and health, and we were like, it's the workout programming's terrible. They
Mhm.
do Olympic lifts to fatigue. These are explosive, complex exercises, and if your form is perfect, they're fine. If your form breaks down by 1%, they become very dangerous, and you're going to put it in a circuit, that's the goal of a circuit, is fatigue. And that was one critique and many others. And
Right.
we said, look, if CrossFit markets their workouts as ways to get better at the sport of CrossFit, that's good. If they're trying to tell everyday people this is a great workout, not so good. And we still communicate that message, but CrossFit's come a long way.
For sure. What would you address the rapid success of Mind Pump, right? Because you guys have grown relatively big in not that long of a time period. So, and were you guys like running ads? Were you working with influencers, or was it just purely organic?
The very first time that we advertised the show was last year. So we never paid for advertising. It was all grassroots. It was all referral based. I mean, okay, so hindsight's always 2020, right? So looking back, I would say the success of the show was a couple different things. We have great chemistry. So Adam and I are, similar in many different ways. We like to communicate quite a bit. Him and I sometimes debate on the show. Justin is very likable, very down to earth, and he does offer that comedic relief sometimes, which makes Adam and I way less annoying. I think if it was just me and Adam, it would be super annoying to a lot of people.